Hey guys, happy Monday. I am just going to wait a couple of seconds to let some people hop on here. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and drop me a 1 down in the comments. I always love to see who watches the replay versus who watches the live, just so I can kind of not figure out the times, but kind of figure out the times, because I'm still working on seeing when I'm going to do these primarily, as far as like what time, what day, that kind of stuff. So, as you're hopping on, welcome. Today, I'm excited. We're actually going to be talking about living outside the box, basically going against the status quo, going against the norm. And right now, with everybody being quarantined, it is more important than ever to not be confined to living in a box. If you're not thinking outside the box right now, you're probably going crazy inside your house. So as you're hopping on, just make sure you have a pen and a paper. We are going to get right into this. I realize it's Monday morning at 9 o'clock. Those of you that are quarantined, you're probably still sleeping. That's totally fine. Those of you that aren't quarantined, probably because you're still able to work. So totally understand that. When you hop on, let me know, are you quarantined or not quarantined? And I'm not saying, like if you're choosing to be quarantined, that's awesome. But like, is your state on lockdown or not yet? And I say not yet because it's probably coming for most of us. That's just the reality. Hey, Savannah. Hey, Noelle. Okay, so first thing I want you to write down is, what have you personally done for somebody in the last 7 days to make their life better? And I know we're under quarantine. We're under a national emergency, right? Like, we're thinking about our families and ourselves and hoarding our toilet paper. We're not thinking about giving back to others. So I want to shed some light on a few things. But the first one is just, what have you done in the last 7 days? And if you want to share, drop it in the comments. I would love to see what you guys are doing for other people. For us, we just went out and we bought groceries Saturday, so 2 days ago, for a family that had 4 little kids. I don't know if y'all know, but 4 kids aren't cheap to shop for. So we bought your state's on lockdown. All the states around us are, and we're just waiting for the order of ours will probably be on lockdown by the end of the week. Maybe even sooner than that. I'm not sure. But anyway, so we went and bought groceries for this family of 4 plus the mom, so family of 5. Spent almost $300, got groceries for a few weeks, plus a few little things for them to play with and just entertain. Like, you're at home, right? You're at home with 4 kids, and they're all under the age, I want to say 11 was the oldest. So they're still pretty small. So just some things like, we got some Play-Doh, and we got some coloring books and some markers. We got some like Nerf footballs that they can play in their backyard, just stuff like that. North Cal, we can only go outside for essentials. Yeah, I think any of the lockdown states, that's what the rule is you can only go out for essentials. Okay, so drop me a 2 if you're done with that. If you've written down something you've done for somebody else in the last 7 days, drop me down a 2. And I will move on to the next thing. Like I said, this is something that, what I've been doing with these journaling lives is I have really just, when I'm doing my devotions, just praying that God gives me something to give to you guys. When I first started doing these, I was Googling things, and that, which is perfectly fine. Like, if you're a Googler, that's okay. But then I wanted to kind of see, as okay, what will God give me out of the Bible to do these with? Because realistically, like, his book is the book, right? Like, anything I find on the internet is awesome, but if it's good, it came from the Bible in the first place, so I might as well get it straight from the Bible. So it has just been challenging me to really think outside the box and come up with my own material, my own prompts to share with you guys. So second thing I want you to write down, what areas of your life are outside of the box? Now, some of you, you're not going to be able to think of anything, and that's why this is going to be a challenging Zoom for a lot of you. What if you haven't done anything? I'm such a horrible person. You're not a horrible person, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about thinking outside the box today and ways that we can help other people during this time. So go ahead and write down what areas of your life are outside of the box. And I'll tell you, I have a lot. One of ours is homeschooling. Now, that has become a little bit more normal, I feel like, than it used to be. But so some people, it's still outside the box. So I'm still categorizing as outside the box, even though like it's one of those things. Another thing is how I choose to make money for my family. Most of y'all know that you're watching this. I used to work full-time in marketing. Then I transitioned into advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and that's where my full-time income comes from now. Been doing this for 4 years. It's definitely something that when it first came around, people were skeptical of it. Now they know it works because people like me and pretty much all my friends do this now. There's like a small handful that don't, but majority of us just make money on Facebook. So it's tried and true, but it's something that you definitely have to be a hard worker to make work. Like you have to be consistent with it. So it's definitely outside the box. It's not something that everybody does. Everyone can do, but not everyone chooses to, and that's fine. This isn't for everybody. Another way is the fact that we give back a portion of our income to other people. That's not normal, especially not in today's society. I feel like today's society is fairly greedy, especially among my generation. We just want to get. Giving back is not like a normal thing. And then the last way that I have written down, and guys, I want to hear yours too. Like what ways is your life outside the box? Drop them in the comments. Another way is our parenting styles for my daughter. Again, especially among my generations, we parent very much like my husband and I parent very much biblically. A lot of my generation does what we call the mommy blogger parenting. Very lax, not a lot of control in the house. Kids kind of run everything, throw fits all the time, like that whole string of parenting. And again, what works for you works for you. I'm just saying that we definitely parent outside the box, and it's very evident when you're around our child and how she behaves around adults and other kids and just the dynamic that we have in our house. So if you're done writing some outside the box things, drop me down a 3. I'll get on to the last one, and then I'm going to tie this all together because, oh my gosh, like what God gave me this morning was just so beyond powerful. It's not even funny, like gave me chills. So I'm real excited to share it with you. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Tina. Tina, I haven't talked to you in a while. Hey, Reva. Okay, so last thing I want you to write down, I want you to brainstorm. I want you to think outside of the box. What can you do for somebody this week that is outside of the box, because most of us cannot leave our houses, to add value to somebody, to help somebody, to make somebody's day brighter? Again, feel free to drop them in the comments because we can all share ideas with each other. I'm going to give you a few ideas. One thing that my husband and I did, and I was talking to Savannah about this on Friday, I was like, hey, I know this is so outside the box. So like, tell me if it's crazy. And she goes, yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's good. Oh, thank you. She said my daughter's a sweetheart. She is 95% of the time. So my husband and I have led our children's ministry for the past 6 years at the church we used to go to. We recently left that church due to some differences in opinion when it comes to some biblical things, which is totally fine. It happens. But what we decided, because we've worked with kids for the last decade and above, like beyond even just running the children's ministry. So what we decided was during the quarantine time, we were going to live stream junior church from our living room. Now, again, totally outside the box, right? Like no one was doing that, especially not in our circles. There were a couple huge churches that were doing it. None of like the independent Baptist churches were doing it. And that's fine because most people don't have the social reach or the social training that my husband and I do. So we decided, let's try it out. And so many people gave us good feedback on it. So many people thanked us for putting time into their kids. Some kids that we knew that we had taught for years and we loved being able to give back to them. Some kids that we had never met. Some kids not even in our country. So it was awesome. Like it was so much fun. And that was definitely outside the box. You can mail a card, a handwritten letter to somebody. It could be a good friend of yours, but you're probably not going to see them for a couple of weeks. Facebook is awesome, yes, but mail something through the mail. And again, this is outside the box, guys. Like, you really have to brainstorm. I'm having to brainstorm, trying to figure out what can you do to help other people right now. if you know, like, again, I'm talking friends because you know their address, or you can ask their address without sounding like a creepy stalker, right? Why not order them pizza and have it delivered? Why not order them Chipotle? Savannah would love if you sent her Chipotle. I don't think anyone delivers in her area, but she would like it. So would Janice. Why not deliver a meal to their family? So there are so many outside the box things that you can do. Some cost money, some don't. You can decide that you can still do while you're quarantined. My grandma's 97. We can't visit her, so me and my grandchildren are writing her handwritten letters and drawing pictures. I can't see all of this thing because it's long, but I will read it when I'm done, and that's awesome. I've been making food and having those in need pick it up. That's amazing. Mailing my dear family friend, call my second dad, and inspirational. I'm assuming you're saying card. Again, I can't read the whole thing while I'm on the live. But guys, so many things outside the box, and I think that's amazing. So to tie it all together, I want to give you the little devotional that I got this morning. I was reading in Matthew 9. I've been just taking one chapter at a time because I'm studying it. So I'm not just reading it. Like I read through the whole Bible, and it was awesome. I got some things out of it. But this time I'm reading through the Bible with the intention of getting something out of it to teach, because that's how my brain works. If I'm getting something out of it to teach, I'm studying it out a lot more. So I was reading in Matthew 9, and I'm just going to have to put my notes up here because I will definitely get off track. I was reading in Matthew 9, and in Matthew 9, 5, and 6, it's the story of Jesus coming and healing the man that's paralyzed. Okay, so what all came together with that, and I thought it was really awesome, is Jesus was telling people all over that they were healed of their sins. They were healed of their sins. He was telling them. Now, obviously, we know that something was actually happening, but it wasn't something that the outside person could see. So to a lot of people watching Jesus, okay, like you're telling a lot of people they're healed from their sins, but we're not seeing like a lot of, action. It takes a lot of action to heal a paralyzed man. And something that I just thought was amazing is so many Christians today, they are so quick to say, I love people, I'm praying for people, blah, blah, blah. Then when it comes to their actions, no. They love their family, they love their friends. They don't do a whole lot for outside people. And I'm not bashing Christians. I am a Christian. What I'm saying is we need to all check our own hearts. Are you giving a lot of lip service, or are you actually putting actions to those words? And just like Jesus back in the day, like plenty of people were skeptical of him. You know what cured some of that skepticism? Not from everybody, but definitely a chunk of people. When the actions happened. Like, it's hard to hate on somebody when you see the action of what they're doing for other people. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. I have plenty of haters because I am very public with a lot of things because I want to teach it. It's not enough for me to just do certain things. I want to teach other people how to do it and other people how to duplicate what I'm doing. Like, I honestly believe there's enough for everyone to go around. So I teach people how to make money online. I teach people how to parent the right way. And I teach people how to have good marriages. And then I come on and I teach people how to have a good relationship with God. Like, it's not enough for me to be doing those things in my own life because I want to teach you how to do the same thing. Now, when you are somebody that you want to do that and that you start being public with what you're doing, one, anytime you make a mistake, you are going to be crucified for it. Been there, done that. None of us are perfect. It sucks. But people love to crucify the people who are doing the most work. Two, you're going to get the haters because you make them feel bad about what they're not doing. So I'm just going to warn you, if you're somebody and you want to do this and you want to make other people's lives better, you're probably going to get some haters. And that's okay. Like, it is what it is, right? What's the saying? The people criticizing you are never doing more than you. 1,000 times over, I can tell you that that's true. So anyways, that kind of is the reason I gave you that first prompt of make sure you're not just giving lip service. Do you really care about people during this time? Go show it. The second thing, when we talked about thinking outside the box. So later on in Matthew 9:9, Matthew, the tax collector, I believe was his official title, When he got called to follow Jesus and become one of his disciples, he had to leave his career, his money, his family, all the things that made him comfortable. When you're living inside your little box, the reason you don't step out of that is because you don't want to be uncomfortable. It doesn't matter what the end result could be. Right now, it's a little scary. It's a little uncomfortable. I'm not going to do it. You're literally giving up future riches and future treasure here and in heaven. Like, I'm not talking about one or the other necessarily, just in general, because you don't want to give up the small amount that you have right now. So, something that I absolutely love is, and I've noticed this about a lot of people, but again, Christians in general, it's easy to say you're going to follow God and do the hard thing. And then when that hard thing gets hard, we quit. We run. You know, when it comes down to sports or teaching your kids Bible, you're picking the sports because that's fun and that's easy. Like, I don't want to sit at home having my kid memorize Bible. And you don't have to pick one or the other, by the way. Like, I'm not saying sports is bad. I think you should have your kids in sports and teach them different things. I'm saying I see a lot of parents, they gravitate toward the fun and towards the stuff that's easier to get their kids to do because they like it more instead of teaching their kids how to enjoy the hard things. Another reason I think a lot of Christians quit on the hard things is because all of their friends are. Someone told me once that Christians are not popular. Like, being a true Christian and following God makes you not popular. I thought that meant because I'm not going to be out drinking and smoking and dancing and doing all the things that I would be unpopular with the world. I didn't realize that when you really set your standards high, you become unpopular with most of today's Christians as well. Because we are Christians when it comes to telling people we're Christians. Not a lot of us are Christians when it comes to our actions. There's the world, and that could be whether you're saved or not. I'm saying the world isn't people who don't live like Jesus. There are today's Christians, which live very much inside the box, doing whatever is comfortable. They're not a big fan of like anything that makes them feel uncomfortable. They love to be politically correct. They love to have people like them. Probably not going to do things that are going to get them a whole lot of enemies. And then there are people who really want to be as close to Jesus as possible. And I would say I'm kind of in between. I think most of us that say we want to be at the top are kind of in between. We never really arrive. But on the journey to getting there, that's when all the haters come. That's when you kind of look back and you're like, I see that you talk a lot. You don't have a lot of action. I think I'm going to distance myself from you just a little bit. You're not a bad person. Like, you're doing so much more than a lot of people, but you're not quite at the level that I want my family to be at. So I'm not going to learn from you. Like, I'm not going to pattern my life after you. And I'll tell you, that's a very hard choice to make, especially when you're friends with those people. And if you're like me, we used to be those people. Okay. We used to very much live in our comfort zone. So I will tell you, when you get around the people that always make you feel good, they always make you feel like you are just an amazing person, that should be a red flag. The Christian culture right now is I am enough, especially among moms my age. Guys, you're not enough. If you were enough, we wouldn't need Jesus. Okay? You're not enough. So when that mommy blogger that you're following on Instagram tells you how amazing of a parent you are because you kept your kids alive for 24 hours, red flag. Unfollow, subscribe to Jesus. Okay? You need to be comparing yourself to what the Bible says about parenting, not what your favorite social media blogger says about parenting. I'm just going to leave it at that. And then the last thing that I want to kind of point out is, well, not the last thing, I guess, but one thing that is not normal right now, because we're in the coronavirus, we're in like a pandemic, is that what they're calling it? One thing that's normal is hoarding everything for yourself. We are not giving back to anybody. We may not have jobs tomorrow. Like, everything is mine, 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 mine. I don't care about my neighbor anymore. And it's funny because Christians are doing this too. It's not just the world. It's not logical to give back at this point. When my husband and I went and spent $300 on groceries for another family, it wasn't logical. He may not have a job at the end of the week. Okay? It's not logical. However, Jesus is not always logical, okay? So I'm not telling you if you have no money in the bank and like your house is about to be foreclosed because you were already behind on everything. Don't go spend $300 on somebody, but everyone has a dollar. Every one of you has a dollar that you can give to somebody. Now is the most important time to be giving back and creating that money that goes out and comes in just as easily as it goes out, because we're in the hard times, okay? So I just urge you to think outside the box. And again, show people that you love them, show people that you care, whatever outside of the box way you can think, because the normal stuff we were doing isn't going to work right now because we're all in our houses. Let's see. All right, so I just want to leave you with this, because at the very end of Matthew 9, the Bible talks about how a ruler came to Jesus and told him that his daughter was dead. Jesus went to that daughter and said, she's not dead, she's sleeping, and rose her from the dead. I don't know. I'm not a theologian. If you know this, you're welcome to put this in the comments, or if you think you know this, because I think sometimes we think we know things and we don't actually know them. I don't know if she was actually dead, or if maybe she was just sleeping and the parents thought she was dead. I feel like it's kind of hard to not know your kid's alive. So I'm thinking she was actually dead. And then Jesus actually rose her from the dead. So it does not matter how hopeless your situation looks. And right now, I know a lot of you, it seems hopeless. It seems very scary. I don't care how hopeless it looks. There is always hope, because Jesus can do the impossible. He proves it over and over and over again. Now, something that I will point out is in Matthew 9:29, I think. The Bible says that he healed the men according to their faith. Okay, let me reread that, or recite that. He healed them according to their faith. You have to believe what you're asking for if you want God to give it to you. Okay, so you have to keep hope. You have to keep faith. That's one reason I do these journaling sessions with you guys. Mindset is so strong and so important that without it, you're always gonna have a crappy life. You have to have a strong mindset and a strong relationship with God if you want to always be looking on the right side. And then something else that he says at the end of that is, sometimes God answers us, but he answers us in a way that we have to show action. And I'm just going to share something super vulnerable with y'all. Like I said, my husband may not have a job by the end of the week. Now, we are to the point where we could cut back on several things, and we could make it work with just my income. However, we don't really want to. I know that sounds selfish. We like certain things. Part of that is giving back. We do like giving back abundantly, and we don't want to cut back on that. I have been praying so hard that my husband does not lose his job, and specifically not lose his income, right? So we sat down and we have a couple different options. I don't believe God is going to have us lose our income, but I think we're going to have to put some action behind those words, because I think the way he's answering us, we pretty much have two options. The one, and this goes for a lot of you guys, the one is, if you look around at the supermarkets around here, they're hiring abundance of people. The problem is, most of us don't want to go work at a supermarket for $8, $9, $10 an hour. Now, if your unemployment pays you more than going to work at that supermarket, I get it. That makes sense. I'm not telling you to, not do unemployment. What I'm telling you is, if it's not paying you more, but you just want to complain instead of getting a job at that kind of crappy job for a few weeks or a month or whatever, that's on you. God answered you and you're like, nope, don't want it. I don't want it that way, sir. I wanted it an easier way. Now, the second option, so if unemployment does pay him more than the supermarket would, he is going to basically take over all the home duties, and he is going to do all the cooking and cleaning and that kind of stuff, and I am going to work more. Because my job, I control 100% what I'm paid. The more work you put in, the more you get paid. Now, I don't work more than a few hours a day because I homeschool my daughter, I run the house. That's the reason I chose this job. Do I want to give up doing all of that and just work? No, not really. Will I do it for the next 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks? Absolutely. Why should my husband not have the chance to be a full-time dad and me sit here and just work my butt off? And then it's also going to bring me that much more income when we're out of this, because the way my job works, it all compounds on top of each other. So yes, I can control what I make now, but then I also am controlling what I'm making in 3 to 6 months. So just a couple things to think about. Do the journaling session, write down your thoughts, write down the things. But remember, you have to have faith and you have to be willing to put the action in. If you're praying for the extra money and the opportunity is coming to you to make extra money and you're too scared to do it, you're like, nah, I don't want to do that. Or you're too lazy, quite frankly, to do it. Nah, that's kind of a little outside the box. I just want to stay in my little box. Stay in your box. Your box is probably not going to have much money in it. And again, that's fine. It's 100% your choice, but stop complaining if you're not listening to what God is telling you. Now, the supermarket thing. Again, most of you can go down to your dollar store. They can go down to your Walmart, wherever, and you can get a job. Do you want to? Probably not. I don't want to either. I guarantee my husband does not want to go bag groceries or go work as a cashier. Will he? Absolutely. Because he's willing to think outside the box right now because that's what we need to do. Now, I know like Tucumcari, the town I'm from, y'all have one grocery store. That might not be an option for you. Like, I'm not at all saying if you don't have a job right now, it's your fault. What I'm saying is if you don't have a job right now and there's jobs in your area that you're turning down, you have zero right to complain about it. Get a job for a few months or a weeks or whatever till your job opens back up. And again, if not, it's just not a one size fits all thing. All I'm saying is use your mind, get a good mindset, do what you can do to help God help you. So I hope this helped you as much as it did me. I did not mean to turn it into a preaching session, but I feel like it kind of did at the end. And that's okay because God just has really laid so many things on my heart and I just love doing this with you guys. So have an awesome rest of your week. I'll probably be back on here Wednesday or Thursday, and I might even do 3 journaling sessions this week because I have more time and I'm at home more. So have an awesome rest of the week, guys.